Respect rarely disappears suddenly. It erodes quietly through small, repeated shifts that change how people rank your reliability. There is rarely a dramatic moment, no announcement, no clean confrontation. Instead, something subtle changes. Tone becomes shorter, replies become slower, invitations become less frequent, and the room feels slightly colder. Most people don't notice the shift when it begins. They notice it when it is already established. And the uncomfortable truth is this: people rarely tell you when their perception changes. They adjust their behavior instead. So if you wait for an explanation, you will often wait forever. Today, we are not discussing confidence or dominance. We are examining the structure of respect, what people are silently measuring, and how to stop feeding the pattern without realizing it. Respect is often confused with being liked. Liking is emotional. Respect is structural. It's the way someone ranks your reliability, your self-control, your standards, and your consistency when tension appears. It answers a silent question: can this person stay aligned under pressure, or do they bend to remove discomfort? When people respect you, they treat your words as deliberate and your boundaries as real. When respect weakens, your words start to sound negotiable, your boundaries look flexible, and your presence starts to feel optional. Respect can erode without a fight. It requires enough small signals that suggest over time you don't hold a stable position. Respect is not fear. Fear is compliance. Respect is recognition. A useful lens is this: respect is the perceived cost of access to you, not money, but structure. If access requires you to abandon your standards, you are treated as low cost. If access requires consistency, you are treated as high structure. Respect rarely collapses because of one big mistake. It shifts through small, repeated signals. Over-explaining is one. Excess justification communicates doubt, not about the facts, but about your right to take space. Structurally, it says, I need you to accept this for me to feel okay. Over-apologizing is another. Apology is healthy when accurate, but when apology becomes reflex, it becomes a status signal. I expect to be at fault, and you become the one who adjusts first. Over-availability lowers position too. If access to you is unlimited, your time looks unprotected, and what isn't protected becomes easier to ignore. And then there is self-correction in real time. You soften your point before anyone resists, adding just, sorry, and if that's okay. These aren't moral failures. They are positioning signals. Respect erodes when kindness lacks boundaries, because kindness without boundaries becomes permission. The more predictable your emotional reactions are, the easier you are to manage. If someone knows exactly what makes you anxious, they gain leverage, not always because they're malicious, but because your system becomes readable. If you become distressed when ignored, they learn your trigger. If you rush to repair after tension, they learn your pattern. If you always soften your stance to keep peace, they learn your threshold. Many people lose respect here without realizing it. Emotional urgency gets mistaken for emotional openness. Stability has a visible signature. It looks like pause. It looks like measured language. It looks like, I'll think about it. It looks like not needing to win the moment. People read signals faster than they process words. Tone shifts, posture changes, breathing speed. Emotional leakage is when insecurity becomes visible even if your words are controlled. You can say, I'm fine, and your voice can still communicate, I need you to approve of me. You can say, no problem, and your body can still communicate, I won't protect myself. For example, if someone interrupts you repeatedly and you never return to your point, you communicated, "My space is optional." Respect weakens when your internal state looks externally dependent, when your mood depends on response, when your confidence depends on validation, when your boundaries depend on fear of withdrawal. People trust what looks regulated. They distance from what looks unstable. Approval seeking often hides inside politeness. You ask for permission to have a preference. You soften your statements before anyone resists. You pre-apologize for taking time. These habits feel considerate, but structurally they communicate, "My position is negotiable." A simple rule: stop explaining after the point has been understood. If the other person keeps pushing, they're not confused. They're testing whether your standard is real. This is why some people are liked but not respected. They are pleasant but adjustable. This is why the topic feels confusing. Many respect losses are not visible in the moment. You laugh at a dismissive joke to keep the mood light. You accept a last-minute cancellation without naming the pattern. You reply instantly every time, even when you are busy. You tolerate small interruptions and then compensate by working harder. Each moment feels minor, but respect is cumulative. In a workplace, this can look like allowing your contribution to be overwritten. You share an idea, someone repeats it louder, and you let it pass. You may think you're avoiding conflict, but the pattern teaches the room that your voice is easy to move. In dating, it can look like accepting vague plans repeatedly. You keep your schedule open just in case, and the other person learns that your time has no structure. In friendships, it can look like being the one who always adjusts first, always drives, always pays, always reassures. Over time, your flexibility stops being appreciated and starts being expected. So instead of hunting for one dramatic cause, watch the pattern of small compromises. Ask yourself, where do I repeatedly abandon my own standard in exchange for short-term peace? That question is uncomfortable, but it is also corrective. Boundaries are not statements, they are patterns. If you tolerate something once, then react strongly later, your standards appear unstable. Inconsistent boundaries create blurred expectations, and blurred expectations reduce respect. Consistency does not require aggression. It requires repetition. A calm no repeated twice is stronger than an angry yes followed by resentment. If your consequences are inconsistent, your standards become optional, and respect erodes quietly through small compromises. If you sense respect has eroded, don't confront immediately. Reset structure. First, reduce unnecessary explanation. Say what you mean once, then stop. Second, slow your response rhythm, not as punishment, as regulation. Third, protect your availability with real limits. Fourth, communicate standards calmly when needed. Short, clear, neutral. That doesn't work for me. If plans change, let me know earlier. Don't interrupt me. Respect cannot be negotiated verbally. It is reestablished through consistent behavior. The hard truth is this: repeated boundary violations without consequence reinforce the pattern. This is not self-blame. It is structural awareness. Respect is not requested. It is inferred through repetition. See the pattern, choose the response.